Christ recap.
to each other for the rest of their lives in the eyes of their goddess Awa. As morning breaks, Neytiri is awakened by the sounds of a large machine. A bulldozer has come from the RDA, tearing up the Tree of Souls. Neytiri tries to wake Jake, but he is currently out of the simulation and remains unconscious. By the time Jake wakes up, he sees a frantic Neytiri dragging him away. He signals the bulldozer to stop, but it continues on plowing. He then climbs the machine and starts destroying the cameras, but the crew starts shooting at him. They run away with Neytiri sobbing as she watches the machines tore down their sacred place. Meanwhile, the RDA catches the footage of Jake destroying the cameras and is able to identify him. At their outpost, Norm tries to stop the soldiers as they pull the simulators, but it's too late. Jake takes the opportunity to state his final plea, but he and Grace faint before allegiance is revealed through a video log stating that the Navis will never give up their home. Colonel Quaritch decides to pull the plug and bomb the Navis away from the home tree. Grace then tells the company that they can't destroy the home tree because it will destroy the biological neural network native to Pandora. The synapses connecting all of them together are like one enormous brain. The RDA isn't fully convinced, but agrees to give the team 1 hour to convince the Omaticaya to move. Grace and Jake regain consciousness in their avatar forms, and Jake starts telling them about the RDA's plans. He admits that he was sent there as a spy, but now things have changed. Hurt by this betrayal, Neytiri lashes out at him and leaves. Jake and Grace are then taken captive. The RDA sends hovercrafts to the home tree and starts gassing them out. Refusing to run, the Omaticaya fights back, but their arrows are useless against the heavy steel of the crafts. The hovercrafts then fire the missiles at the natives and at the home tree. The tree immediately lights up on fire as the Navis make a run for their lives. Jack and Grace are tied to the post, unable to escape until Mode approaches them. She sets them free, telling them that if they are indeed one of them, then they should help them. Jake finds her in the rubble, but Neytiri pushes him away, telling him to never come back. Back at the facility, Jake and Grace are taken out of the simulation once again and are arrested while Jake's avatar body collapses among the debris. As the avatar team lay in their cell, Trudy busts them out. They hijack one of the helicopters and escape. Unluckily, Grace takes a hit to the stomach. Jake patches her up as they make it back to their original outpost. They relocated higher up the mountains where the RDA can't get to it easily. Jake gets back into simulation and formulates a plan. Once he's back in his avatar form, he calls out his Ekran. Jake knows that there's only one way the Omaticaya will listen to him. Together, they hunt down the Turek. With nowhere left to go, the Omaticaya are forced to take refuge at the last remaining Tree of Souls. As they wait for an answer to their prayers, they hear a strong gust of wind behind them and gasp in horror as they see the Turek flying towards them. It lands on the ground, and Neytiri is shocked to see that Jake has managed to tame the mighty beast. This feat gains the awe and respect of the Navi. Jake asks Sute to join him in the fight against the humans, and he agrees. Jake then brings Grace to Navi, asking him to save her life. He then takes her human body to the Tree of Souls together with her avatar body, and the clan performs a ritual to try and transfer Grace's consciousness into her avatar form. But it was too late. Grace's wound was too deep, and she died before the ritual was over. But Jake knows that this battle is far from over. Together with Sute, they rally up the Omaticaya and they travel to the neighboring clans, gathering Navis from the plains, seas, and mountains to join them in the battle for the RDA's plans to bomb the Tree of Souls. He then forms a plan to lure them through the floating mountains, then attack them there, even before they reach the sacred place. Jake prays to Iwa at the Tree of Souls for guidance. As morning breaks, the RDA launches the hovercrafts along with the bombs the Navi clans wait for them among the floating mountains. Not long after, the clans from the plains take action in charge of the machine suits surveying the grounds. The Navis take the first fire flying around the hovercrafts and shooting them down with their arrows. They manage to take down a few helicopters, but the company's armory is too strong. They launch fires at the Navis with their guns, taking down quite a number of them. Colonel Quaritch spots Jake on the Turok and starts firing at him. Jake escapes the line of fire, luring the Colonel's hovercraft deeper into the mountains. Suddenly, Trudy in her helicopter intervenes. She shoots fire at the Colonel, allowing Jake to escape. Meanwhile, Neytiri's icon is taken down and she lands on the ground, witnessing the devastation that the humans have caused. Sute launches a heroic act at the main hovercraft, taking away a number of men unloading the bombs before he is gunned down and falls to the ground. The Navis are overwhelmed as they retreat deeper into the forest. Suddenly, the hovercraft picks up a different movement. In a matter of seconds, various Pandorian wildlife come charging at the machines as the Ekran takes over the skies, taking down the remaining crafts. Neytiri interprets this as a sign of help from Awa. Jake then lands on the main hovercraft carrying the bombs and takes down their machine guns. He runs around the craft, expertly avoiding fire, and launches a grenade at one of the engines. The craft goes down and blows up among the mountains. He launches several more grenades at the Colonel's craft, but Quaritch manages to escape using a mechanical suit. The grenades blow up, and Jake is tossed back into the sky and lands back to the ground. The Colonel survives the blow and starts hunting down the outpost. Quaritch reaches the location of the simulators just in time as Neytiri makes a launch at him. Quaritch takes her down and traps her beneath the trunks of a tree. As he's about to stab her, Jake appears and fights him. Jake is able to hold him off, breaking his knife and the protective glass around the suit. The Colonel gasps for air and then starts targeting Jake's real body instead. He breaks open the glass of the outpost and destroys the simulators. Jake stabs him on the neck as the Colonel drags his body. Neytiri frees herself and launches an arrow straight to the Colonel's heart. She launches another arrow to finish the kill. Meanwhile, Jake emerges from the simulator, dragging his body to reach for the air mask. The poisonous air knocks him out, and he's unable to breathe. Neytiri realizes what's happening, and she climbs inside the outpost and puts the air mask on Jake. She sees his real body for the first time, and they hold each other close. Back in his avatar form, Jake and Neytiri find Sute, who begs Jake to kill him off, so that he would die a noble death. As he takes his last breaths, Sute acknowledges Jake as his brother and passes the chieftainship to him. Jake accepts this with gratitude. The war is now over, and the Navis have won. The facility is destroyed, and the humans are sent back on their ships to Earth. Jake, Norm, and a few other humans are given permission by the Navis